Welcome to another Social Sunday with our fan Q&A. I'm with Bruno Ricardo Rocha de Luz, formerly known as Bruno Luz. I know this fella very, very well. Very, very well. Bruno,
Yeah, you do.
tell us a bit of about how you started football. Obviously, you're from Portugal. Tell us a bit of life in Portugal, growing up and stuff.
Bro, life in Portugal was work. What can I say? I had a great childhood. I'm not gonna lie to you. With all the the pros and cons, I had a good childhood. I can't complain. I had parents that were present, separated, but they were present. I had a good family background, sort of thing. The area where I grew up in wasn't so great, but we made out of a bad situation a good situation because we had a good group. All my childhood friends, we all made it to pros. But we used to always play in the neighborhood. We had like a small five-a-side ring in the middle of the buildings, and where we used to play. And we would play from 8 until 10 at night, basically, until it got dark, until mom called us, and we got home and got beat. If I came home late, if I didn't come home for lunch, and she called me 100 times, I know I was gonna get beat, but I would stay until the end. I knew that I was gonna get beat, but it was worth it because I was out playing with my friends. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, that was kind of like the until I was maybe from maybe 5, 6 until I was like 12 years old. When I turned 11, 12 years old, that's when I saw that well, people saw in me that I could make a career out of it. So they took me to my first club, which is Victoria at the time. Not at the time. They're a big team, in Portugal. The historic is amazing, So I went
Bruno,
there. Yeah,
Bruno, at that age, 11, 12 was it, yeah?
yeah.
How did you feel with that pressure when people were actually saying, well, you can actually make it? Did you feel pressure?
Pressure, no, because all I was worried about was playing football. I didn't really feel any pressure on the outside. All I wanted to do was just play football because if I can do it with my friends, I would do it somewhere else. Does that make sense? And at the
Yeah.
time, you don't feel like it's so serious. You yourself, you've been in football. It's never that serious when you're that age. In Portugal, in Portugal. But then, obviously, things happened for me to go to England, and when I got to England, then it was completely different. That's when I started to feel a little bit of the pressure. But in Portugal itself, it wasn't so. It wasn't pressure at all. It was just having fun with my friends in the park, and I would
So,
transport it onto the official pitch,
pitch.
if that
So,
makes sense.
what happened when you went to the team at 12 years old?
No, I went to the team earlier. I'm just saying that at 11, 12, that's when it started getting a little bit more serious. I
Oh,
went to
right.
the team when I went to the team when I was like 5. So from then on, I went through the ranks. I went through through the motions, and when I got to 11, 12, that's when it started to get serious. I was getting interests from Spain, teams from France, from Germany, from United States, even Italy at the time. At the time, it was Bari, I think, that wanted to take me. And now they're like a Serie B team, like championship level. But there was a lot of teams that wanted to take me. So obviously, things happened in a way for me to move to England. I ended up moving to England at 13 years old, almost 14, if I'm not mistaken. So, from then on, that's how
Why?
things started to get serious. Mm,
The
uh,
the
yeah.
reason you moving to England, how was that engineered? If you don't mind me asking.
No, of course not. It was engineered because at the time, obviously, things in Portugal were so great, work-wise and all the social problems around in Portugal and stuff. So, mom decided to move. Obviously, having a chance of going to England to play, obviously, is always going to be my goal. Obviously, everyone that goes to England from other countries, they think of England Premiership. So obviously, you don't know what you have to go through to get there. So I just put in my head, okay, we're going to England, let's go, let's do it. and that's when the first time came Fulham. You know, when I leave from Portugal, one reality, and I get to England, and you know, you get to Fulham, and it's okay, it's already a good club, and it has the good conditions, facilities wise, it's great compared to Portugal, and you get obviously you get mesmerized. You know, you think, oh wow, you kind of feel that you made it because you're there, but you're not really there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I thought when I moved to England. That's when I thought, okay, I'm going to England, and I'm going to a better football if I get there. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I thought even before I went. But obviously, forgetting that the cultural difference is huge, huge.
Yeah, let's
Language
talk about that.
barrier, you know, it's
Can,
yeah,
can we talk about that in detail? Yeah,
of
because
course,
that's very
of course,
interesting. I'm really interested about that because
of course.
Portugal is one of the places I've never really like took notice of.
Hmm.
I'm really like curious to find out like the difference in sort of like the youth development regarding Portugal and England.
It's not so different, but it's different from where I come from Sporting Lisbon, where when I left, we didn't really have an academy. So from 2004, they built an academy where the players actually stay and sleep there. You know, the players are from far away, or the players that come from problematic neighborhoods, they stay there. You know, players with talent that the club believes in, they make them stay at the academy, and they're not really allowed to leave as so to speak so freely. You know, so only the top four clubs have this kind of academy. Whereas in England, up until even League Two or League One, teams have training grounds, you know. But in Portugal, only let's say top four, five teams have actually academies where the players sleep in. So this was implemented like 15, let's say 17 years ago, when the likes of Cristiano started to come up, Quaresma started to come up, you know, all these Nani, you know, which very good friend of mine. All these players started to come up from these academies. So that's when the youth development, the youth setup started to change completely. That's why from then, from let's say from the time from Ronaldo's time until now, look how many players have been sold or have transferred to better clubs, Premiership. You know, so this is what changed in our youth system. Whereas in England, it's always been present. It's a system. You know, you've been in the system, I've been in the system. So it's a system that is consistent. Whereas our system in Portugal, it started from let's say 2004 and onwards. You know,
That's
yeah,
interesting, man.
yeah,
Do you know what? What I want to know is, do you know the player development?
yeah,
I'm interested in sport in Lisbon because they've brought through a lot of players, and that's
yeah,
not by chance.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I just want to know what they're doing that over here in England we're struggling with.
Starting with the coaching policy, player choice policy. Does that make sense? I'll give you
Elaborate.
an example. I'll give you an example. We were at QPR, yeah. You remember when I was at QPR? I was skinny, I was small, skillful, bright orange boots. Remember my bright orange boots? Twinkle toes. The first team was used to call me Twinkle Toes.
Oh
So
man,
you know what,
don't even go there with them. Don't even go there with them bright orange boots, man. Don't let me start
remember,
on this Q&A.
bro. I'll give you a vivid example. And up until today, I'm still thinking, how is this possible? Remember when we had a youth FA Cup against Aston
FA
Villa
Youth Cup, yeah,
at Loftus Road? I
yeah,
was
yeah.
I was a first team. I was a first 11 all the time, and Joe Gallen told me before the match. I had only those orange boots, and he told me that if I didn't have black boots for that game, I wouldn't play. And I thought he was joking, you know. So I turned up to the game. We all turned up to the game. We came from the training ground because we had training in the morning, and then we stayed there for lunch, and then we ended up traveling to the stadium. And before the game, he told me this, and I told him, Joe, these are the only boots that I've got. You know, it was the only boots that I had. And he told me, okay, so you're not going to start until you find boots. You're not going to play. You remember the winger? I forgot his name, bro. He's now an actor, I think. I forgot his name.
He's where?
He's an actor. He's an actor now. What's his name? The right winger. He was fast. Bernard. Adam Bernard.
Adam Bernard. Oh, right. All right. Cool. Cool.
He was size 10 or 11. I was a size 8 or size 7, you know. So I had to put on his size 11 boots to go warm up at half time. To go warm up at half time so I could come on. We were losing. We were 2-0 down or 1-0 down, I think. And this is a team that they needed me. So he told me not to come. He told me I wouldn't play until I changed my boots. So to basically resume the story, I ended up not playing that game because obviously I wasn't playing with my boots. I was playing with the 3-4 sizes bigger than mine, and my orange boots were in the locker because I wasn't allowed to wear them. So we ended up losing the game because of it's politics, right? So he told me that I wouldn't play because of my boots. So I transport that mentality into the football setup, into our youth setup. That would never happen because players here, they wear pink shoes and they've been wearing since forever. You know, if you had Ronaldo here and you would ask these questions, he would tell you exactly the same thing. At the age of 15, 16, yeah, he was at Chelsea on loan, Portuguese guy, big product coming, one of the biggest product coming from Sporting. Yeah, he at 15, he's my age. At 15, he had a sponsor. He had the Nike sponsorship, so Nike would send him silver boots, yellow boots, the R9s, blue, whatever, and he used to wear them, and nobody would tell him nothing. Like him, other players as well. So why would the English setup supposedly be the best setup, youth setup that there is around, do that with a player that is a game changer, is a usual starter in the team? Why would they do that? You understand? And the same thing that happened to me happens to millions of other players. You know, a lot of academies don't let the players express themselves and be themselves. Does that make sense? So I ended up not playing that game, and it was crazy. And then after the game, he explained me why, and I told him, okay, but this is the only pair of boots I had, blah blah blah, you know. But meanwhile, we lost the game, and then we could have gone through that stage or not. We never know. But I didn't play that game, so it was basically on him to leave me out like that, you know. But it is what it is. I'm just saying that's one of the differences between English setup and the Portuguese setup. You know, they don't really look at how tall the player is, how short, how fat, how big, how skinny. If the player is good enough, he's good enough. We can work on him. This is the mentality. Ronaldo, when he came to Sporting, or Nani when he came to Sporting, bro, he was thinner than my missus' mascara pencil thingy. He was thin, bro, and they developed him because they saw talent in him. They built him up a little bit before he went to England, and then when he went to England, of course, they did just the extra, you know. So that's one of the big differences between Portuguese mentality and the English mentality, youth wise. I'm saying.
Yeah, do you know what? I agree with you 100%. I found that out as soon as I started playing abroad. I saw that little bit of it's a small detail, but
Yeah,
it
it's
makes a
different.
huge difference in the player development.
Difference.
I'm with you
Hmm.
100%.
Yeah.
However, let's go back to Fulham. You're at Fulham.
Hmm. Hmm.
Talk me through your career at Fulham. How long was you there for?
My career at Fulham was short. Was short because at these times I didn't really adapt to the language barrier. You know, the cultural differences, and just basically, I had to adapt to a completely different kind of football to what I was used to in Portugal. And you know, think of a 13, 14-year-old kid coming from sunny Portugal to England, coldy and rainy, to let's just say it was a big difference. It was a big difference. I didn't have time to adapt. My coach at the time was remember me. He was an assistant for Ancelotti. I forgot his name, bro. Help me.
I don't know.
Bro, he's been with Ancelotti. English, obviously English guy. He at the time I
Oh,
loved him because
was it Steve Clement?
Steve Clement, no,
Steve Clement. Paul Clement. Paul Clement. That's it.
Exactly, thank you, Paul Clement. And at the time he was arrogant, arrogant, but very good coach, very good coach. And obviously at the time, me coming from a different reality, not being able to express myself in Portuguese, it kind of set me back a little bit into that. But I saw that I was definitely more than good enough to be on that youth on the YT on that scholarship, because at the time there was a Portuguese player there as well, Lino. That they used to call him Cristiano. He used to think that he was Cristiano. He was good, very good player.
Come on, Bruno. Every Portuguese winger used to think they were Cristiano.
Yeah,
Come on,
exactly. But he took it a step extra. Like, you know me, but he took it even extra. You know what I mean? So that also kind of put a barrier into me getting into that setup right away. So obviously I had to bounce back from that, and that's when I met Bradley. I met Bradley there.
Yes.
And that's how and Yinka and Abi, you know the story.
How do you think sort of like the English game, sort of like well, you spoke about the coach. How do you think the players and just everyone sort of like reacted to your style of play? Because it would have been different to what they're used to.
They didn't like it because it's exactly what you said, because it was different. I was a typical Portuguese winger, you can say that, and at the time there weren't many wingers like that sort of style. Ronaldo had just come out, he had just blew, so he was like news in the Premiership. So until they could adapt to that style, they didn't like it, because let's say I was doing three step overs, going past the player, come back, do a flick over his head, go and cross it, and then it would be a goal. They wouldn't like that because they thought I was taking a piss, But that's how I played, how I always played. And then obviously they would try to kick, they would try to say, "Oh, why are you playing like this? This is not how you play football." Blah blah blah. Because it was different, they didn't understand it. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't good enough. It's just because they weren't used to that kind of football, especially in academy football. But yeah, it was completely different. It was physical, so it was different.
How did you feel like with that sort of reaction to your style of play? How did that make you feel like regarding confidence and
It definitely. I lost my confidence 100% after that. Yeah, I lost my confidence because I was told I wasn't strong enough. And obviously when you're told that, your first reaction is, oh, I've got to work on my physique. I have to go gym, and stuff like that. But then you kind of question yourself, because you think that you did everything right, but they still didn't accept it. That still wasn't good enough. But in your head, you think that it's good enough. I had to stay strong, of course, but my confidence shook a bit. But then after a while, I met the right people that brought my confidence back up. Then I started. Okay, I thought, you know what, reset. Let's do this again. That's the time went, and then that's when I got into QPR. And when I got to QPR, you know how things were back there. That's how I got my confidence back up, let's say.
obviously in that moment as a young player, yeah, you're going through a lot.
Yeah.
Mentally, you're going through a lot of stuff because it's mentally challenging for you because a style of football that's got you to this stage, and then now people are trying to tell you that that's not good enough.
Exactly.
Off the field, did you have any support?
Not as much as I should, because think of a single mother raising a foreigner in the London, one of the London's most problematic neighborhoods or areas. Let's just say it that way. Yeah, single mom, problematic neighborhood, not enough support. bad company. It has everything to go wrong. You know what I mean? And if I had, I'm not gonna blame my mum because she did everything that she could, of course. But if I had that sort of background that the players at my time had, 100%, then it would have been a different story. 100%. I have no doubts about that. No doubts.
So you've just left. You just left Fulham.
Yeah.
How did you go about getting into QPR?
Well, it was funny because at the time we played. I think we played when I was at Fulham. We played against Chelsea one day, and then 3 days after we played against Yeovil. I think it was Yeovil or Northampton, something like that. I think it was Yeovil because Yeovil wanted to sign me. It was Kenny
Kenny
Jackett that wanted
Jackson.
to
Yeah.
sign me. He when he went to Yeovil, the day the season that he signed in Yeovil, he went to watch a youth game, and that's when I was there, and I surprisingly had a very good game that day, and he saw me there. So I think he tried to track me down, and he knew one of my uncle's friends because my uncle was a coach for the community and stuff, so he knew him. So he spoke to him, and he asked me if I wanted to come down and have a chat with him. So I thought, there you go, arrogance, yeah. I thought Yeovil Town, League One. I'm not too sure about that. I'm not too sure. And he said, but you can always go to QPR because he lived right across. Remember QPR training ground? At the end of the road, you have the main road where we used to take the bus. He lived
Yeah.
literally 1 mile before the station. There was an underground station before that bridge, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
remember the bridge. So before the bridge, he used to live there. So he had contacts there. So you can always go to QPR. And I go, QPR and Yeovil? Of course, I'm gonna go to QPR. That's not even no question about it. So that's how I ended up going there, and I went there for 1 day or 2 day trial, and then Joe just told me to stay.
You in QPR. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Atmosphere. Change the room. Talk me through it.
fantastic,
What the,
fantastic, bro. I
what
met,
was
I
what
met,
was the difference?
bro. I met amazing people because I think that at the time at Fulham there was more players from stable black backgrounds. You know what I mean? So let's say the usual typical kid with the
Middle class.
with middle class with their parents together, living in away from problematic areas, stuff like that. That influences you, whether you believe it or not. That has a big influence on how you turn out as a person, not even as a player, as a person. So when I came to QPR, it was more the people in my sort of situation from broken homes and people from the hood, from neighborhoods and stuff like that. It kind of like gelled together, kind of thing. So and obviously the older players used to be with the youth, with the younger players. You guys from the first team and reserve teams used to be with us all the time, and us with you lot as well. So it was kind of like it was amazing. The first time I went into the first team dressing room, I can't remember. I think it was Blackstock. I think it was Blackstock or Dominic Shimon. Yeah,
Yeah, Dominic
the,
Shimon. Yeah.
the one of them. I sat on one of their seats and he just said, "Hey, just move away. What are you doing? Why are you even here?" The stuff like that. But they used to like me. They nicknamed me Twinkle Toes. You know, so it was a different atmosphere. I fitted in straight away. The coach liked me a lot, a lot. Let's just say that the reserve team coach, Gary Waddock.
Gary Waddock.
Gary
Yeah,
Waddock.
I,
He
I
loved
know.
me.
I know Gary. I know Gary liked you a lot. I know
He
Gary
loved.
liked you a lot, and we're gonna get to that bit in a second.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, 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 yeah.
100%, because I know, because obviously, like, I think when you came, I think that was my second year as a pro, and
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, I think so. And then I was spending a lot of time with the youth team because obviously, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kieran was there and stuff
Kieran,
like that.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
so. Uh,
Shabazz, everyone.
I got to know a lot of people. I got to know a lot of people in the youth and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I obviously, I was a senior player, and
Hmm.
Gary was talking to me a lot, and I knew that 100%, yeah, that he liked you. Hence
Yeah.
why I kept getting onto you. But
Yeah,
you
yeah,
didn't
yeah, yeah,
understand
yeah.
why I was getting onto you. I kept getting
I just
onto
thought
you.
you was getting on to me because.
No, I kept getting onto you because at that point when you was at QPR, I think talent wise, yeah, you was one of the best. One of the best there, talent wise, yeah. However, telling you that will be the worst thing that could ever
Of
happen to you.
course,
The
overconfidence. Yeah.
worst thing. That's why you remember occasionally I used to come over and like play two touch with you, lot.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And I
exactly.
used to boot it straight to you so you lose. Just so you can humble yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Just
yeah.
so you
That's
can
a
humble
good.
yourself.
That's a good point. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But thing, what's it called? Talk me through like obviously your changing room. I used to come in there all the time because I just thought, you know what, yeah, you guys, the atmosphere in there was
It was
mad.
crazy. It
It
was
was
crazy,
mad.
crazy,
Talk me,
crazy.
talk me through like the importance of like a change room, a team, and stuff like. Because do you know what? What people don't understand, yeah, it's hard being in a team. You know,
Yeah, of course it
it's
is.
very hard being in a team,
Of
in a
course,
proper gel team. Talk me through like that actual team.
bro. It's like you felt when you're in that changing room. I felt like we were a family before anything. We were a family. Let's say even if the guy is not playing, but I know that he's rooting for me. Same as if I'm not playing, if he's not playing, I know I'm gonna root for him. That's why I felt at the time. I felt like that, and we as I told you in the beginning, we gelled so much because we all came from the same sort of background. So there was no social difference between us. So we used to get the bus together. We used to do things together. Even Joe Gallen was like a mentor to all of us. He understood all of it because obviously he also played, so he knows how a footballer thinks. But at the time, being a 16-year-old growing up in London, it's not easy, especially when I'm coming from, I don't know how far away it was, but it was far from Northwest London to QPR. It's difficult. It's difficult, because you have to go through a lot of things daily to get to training, and a lot of people don't see that. But atmosphere wise, team wise, it was definitely one of the best groups, professionally even speaking, that I ever had. Obviously, you had, like I told you, had players from the same sort of different backgrounds, and then on the pitch, everyone had quality, and if I do something bad, I know that he's gonna push me on, and if he do something bad, I know I'm gonna push this guy on, and so that's how it was. It was contagious. So everyone started pushing each other, and then we made a good team. We had a really good team, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah, Bruno, like you're on top of the world now. Reserve manager loves you. You're in a good
Mm-hmm.
team.
Yeah. I used to train with the
Everything's
reserves all the time.
what's that?
I used to train with the reserve team all the time, and I was
Yeah, I know
16.
everything's going
Yeah,
well. Yeah, I
yeah,
know. Off the field, yeah, you had activity.
of course.
Talk me through that if you don't mind.
No. A few things I can say. The rest I can't, obviously. Bro, it was like I told you, coming from a problematic neighborhood. It's whether you like it or not, or whether you want it or not, you're always gonna get caught up some sort of madness, kind of thing. Just to give an example, as you said, I'm on top of the world. I'm 16 years old. One of the senior coaches loves me. I'm that one step from a pro, right? Um, we have a lot of games, and I think you was at that game. I went to a game on the
Yeah, you
GSXR.
you you lot you lot made me a lot of money that day, the FA Youth Cup game. I bet it against you lot. I got
Yeah,
carried.
you can. No, no, not even that game. Not even that game. It was before that. Before you guys came to my game, you, Abby, Yinka, Bubs, everyone came to the game, and I met you lot before the game. I was on a GSXR on a superbike.
Yeah,
You remember?
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
On a GSXR on a superbike. I was 16. You remember Tesco? That was just before the stadium.
Yeah.
I'm going to a football match at 16 where I don't even have a license to ride a bike on the superbike. you know, and I have to obviously take the helmet with me, put it under my locker, so that Joe doesn't see it, and go to the game. You know, so when you get to that sort of situation, oh, you have to wonder how a 16-year-old gets to that situation, whereas I should be at home waiting for time to go to the match, where my dad or my mom would take me to the match, and I shouldn't even be worried about these things. But this is what you get caught up with when you're in that sort of environment. Does that make sense? So this is, yeah, just to cut the story short. Obviously, I didn't always make the right choices, of
Yeah, do
course.
you know what? Regarding the right choices, yeah.
Mm.
I want to nitpick your brain right now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. Do you know? Because you had so much to lose,
Exactly.
and I think at that moment, like, I think when it all happened, yeah, I was just thinking, everyone, I think everyone was thinking, yeah, what is Bruno thinking?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
literally, you was set, you were set.
Yeah,
Like I've
yeah.
never, do you know
I
what?
felt that. I felt that as well.
Yeah, because everyone had to graft. I had to graft, like
Yeah,
Jake. Everyone had to graft for like a
yeah,
pro
yeah,
or whatever. Yeah, for you, it looked like it was on a plate.
yeah.
I just wanna go through like your mindset at that moment of time. Like, did you notice? Did you notice what you was doing? Did it really mean anything? The risk.
No, bro, no, because I was just going through the emotions. You know, at one point, obviously, I was doing what I love, and I was in probably the best place that I could start my pro career at. You know, and then on the other side, you get mesmerized with the lifestyle that boys, your boys, are living. You know what I mean? Obviously, coming from obviously the home situation, single mom and all that, and all that nonsense. Then you have your boys around you that are, you know, balling, but obviously you don't have the sense of what it comes with that. You know what I mean? And I'm not even talking about bringing it onto the football side. I'm just talking about on the all the risks and, you know, social wise, and let alone when you are a football player, and that could influence your social life and then your professional life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at six, as a 16-year-old, you don't really have that that balance to stop and think. Whereas I say, if you come from a middle class home or normal home, then you have parents to tell you, do this, go left, go right, go do this. This is not correct. You know, I didn't have that. So obviously, I'm not gonna put it on my parents that, but let's just say I didn't have the maturity enough to be able to decide, to stop and think and say, you know, this is right, this is wrong. I can't do that. If I want to reach somewhere, I can't do that. You know, I just went along with it. Let's just say, you know,
So
then one thing led to another, and then
in your defense, at 16, it's not all down to you. You really need to have that support there.
one
You
hundred percent,
know, those times, like a lot of us were unfortunate to not have that sort of support. So that's why we had to learn from our mistakes.
exactly,
However,
exactly,
um, you've just left QPR.
yeah,
How does that feel? Like you're
shit,
home. Like how does that feel?
bro, shit, because I, exactly what you said, home. You know, when you leave a place like that, and how you leave it as well, if it leaves like an emptiness,
Yeah.
like a hole in your heart, but also your conscience brings you to reality and think, no, it was my fault. No matter what comes with it, it was my fault. It's my responsibility. So I have to suffer the consequences. You know, so that's what that's like once again. Okay, cool. Happen, restart. You know, take a deep breath and restart. But it wasn't easy because it was always there in the back of the head. You know, always in the back of the head. And then obviously I used to follow obviously my all of them, and see the progress, and how they were doing, and they were doing good, and it wasn't easy at all. So I left from there with a feeling. that it, I felt that I could have made it, and it was down to me, you know. So there was nothing I could do about that. It happened. So I just have, like you said, I just had to learn from my mistake, and obviously to transport it to the next experience and to make sure not to repeat it, basically, you know.
Do you know what, Bruno? Yeah, there's one thing I really admire about you. Yeah, and I don't say many nice things to you. You know that. Yeah, but
Bro,
there's one
I'm
thing I do.
33. You can tell me that. I don't shake my confidence or boost it. So
Nah, there's one thing I do admire about you. Yeah, is that your mentality is very strong, very strong, and the way you the way your thought process goes through when obviously like one door's closed, how you sort of like change your mindset and you sort of like reset your brain, and then you
yeah,
sort of like, oh, you've got a new target and you actually
yeah,
go for it. That's not easy, especially after leaving in the space of, let's say, 4 years,
yeah.
leaving two massive clubs.
Massive
Yeah,
clubs, exactly.
massive clubs. And in both them clubs, yeah, you was in a comfort zone,
Yeah,
and then it
definitely.
just going just like that. Yeah,
Just like that,
for
exactly.
me, I think you turn it over very well, because a lot of people, it just doesn't sink in
Yeah,
that quickly. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
after that, you became like you started trialing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I went to
I
Yeovil,
saw you in Hazen. Was it Hayes?
Hazen Yedden. Remember
Yeah.
Hazen Yedden? Hazen Yedden, bro. It was like, oh my gosh, it was like a shock. You know, coming from QPR where I had everything and going to Hazen Yedden was a shock, bro. They used to train out God knows where, what pitch they used to train on. You know, it was a shock. It was definitely a shock. So I thought, you know what? Again, I'm here. It's my problem. I just have to graft. You know, I'm still 18. What, 18 years old, 19 years old. I have to graft. You know, but for some reason, I don't even remember why things didn't happen there. I don't know why. I moved on and I went to Yeovil, back to Yeovil. At the time was who was the coach there? Was I remember that Nathan Nathan Smith, the left
Nathan
back, was there.
Ashton. Nathan
No, no, yeah,
Ashton.
he was the captain, but he stopped playing, so he stayed as a first team coach there, or
Okay.
assistant coach, or something like that. And I met Nathan Smith, the left back.
Okay.
Great guy, great guy, great guy. I met him, and I met the striker. I forgot his name. Amnesia, bro. I met the black guy up front, Lloyd. Remember Lloyd? Lloyd Owusu.
Lloyd Owusu. Yeah. Journeyman.
I met them. Exactly. I met them. Yeah. It was an amazing club. But I was training and playing with reserves, and I was told I would be signing after one two trainings. The gaffer liked me, and then come the story as to why I left QPR. You know, so obviously you know how word goes around. It's England. You know, it's
Yeah.
football. Let's say football, not England. It's football. So that kind of slowed the process, right? So, and I saw that they were stalling, and I thought, you know what, arrogance. Yeah, I thought to myself, I'm too good to be here anyway. So I didn't even let them give the chance. I didn't even give them a chance to turn me down or to reject me, kind of thing. So I just basically left. I left, and I had the chance to go to Portsmouth, Pompey. Yeah, and at the time, I met Carnu,
Yeah.
David Nugent. I met Sonko, who I spoke to a few days ago. Ibrahim
Yeah.
Sonko.
He's the right winger, right? It.
Sonko, no, he was the left back, centre back. Superman,
Oh,
big guy.
okay.
Stoke. Played at
Oh, okay.
Stoke,
Yeah.
Reading, you know, all that. And I met all these guys, bro. Ricardo Rocha, the Portuguese guy. They had just got relegated to the Championship, you know.
Yeah.
So, but they had an embargo situation, and they couldn't sign no new players. John Utaka, remember John Utaka?
Yeah. Johnny Tucker. Yeah.
John, he pushed David Cottrell to sign me on the spot, you know. And David said, John, we can't sign him because the club is in administration, and we could lose points, and we could even go even further down. Well, we need to let this sit through and see what's going to happen, because he's obviously a player of interest. I want to keep him. Everybody knows that he should be here, but I can't sign him because obviously we have this problem. So all these times I'm thinking, wow, how things change when you're at QPR on top of the world, and you all you have to do is just worry about your football, and all of a sudden I'm running after things, kind of thing. So it's setback after setback, setback after setback, and obviously you start to think that, oh, rah, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I should be doing something else. I should be doing something else. So obviously, once again, not the road, but the circumstances kind of influenced in a way, you know. And I'm not gonna get into it a lot, but obviously you have to support yourself somehow. Obviously, if you're not making football from your job, you have to support yourself somehow, right? But that's not really important. How I managed to support myself, and comes a chance to go to Cyprus, right? So I go to Cyprus, bro. This is a funny story, man. These times I still had Facebook and stuff like that, so I was reachable, right? I was reachable, and one coach that was doing his work experience. Some coaches come to England to learn and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some coach was like one of our QPR trainings or matches, or I don't remember how, and he took over a major club in Cyprus, Apollon. You remember Apollon?
Yeah,
Apollon
yeah.
Limassol.
Apollo.
No, that's Apoel, and there's Apollon. Apollon
Apollo.
Limassol.
Okay.
Apollon. He was they were Europa League, top club. So that come a chance. The sporting director contacted me directly, and I was like, "Is this a joke?" I've never even heard of Cyprus. Only Ayanapa, you know. So I've only heard of Cyprus is Ayanapa. I didn't even know they had a football league. Yeah. So these times I'm thinking, I've got nothing. Yeah, I've gone through all these setbacks in England, and you know how the England mentality, when it gets to you, it gets to you. And I thought, you know what, I need a change of scenario completely, because if I stay here, I'm either gonna get stabbed and die, or I'm gonna go to jail, or one or the other, right? So I decided to go. I signed a 3-year deal with them. When I got there, I was obviously kind of, a little bit wary, but when I got there, it was amazing, amazing, bro. I got there end of May. They had just finished the season. They had their Super Cup game against Omonia, and they won. And bro, when I tell you, 40,000 people in the stadium, they were absolutely hooligans, crazy, bro, crazy. In the streets, it was crazy, bro, madness, madness. And I thought, what, you know? And then obviously they had sent me the offer before I flew, but there was some things I wasn't agreeing with it. So when I got there, and we sat down and we changed a few things in the contract, and they said, you know what, instead of giving you the salary that you want, we can reach it, but instead of giving you that much, we're going to give you X, but we're going to give you in hand, like a signing fee, signing on bonus, yeah. And it was almost the whole contract. And I thought, okay, I didn't believe it. At these times, bear in mind that these times, I went through all these setbacks in England, and I come to a club where they really want me, and I have no setbacks in Cyprus, and I'm about to sign a contract without even playing, without even doing no medical tests, nothing. So I said, yeah, on the spot, said yeah on the spot, and then from then on, my career started,
So
basically.
a couple of things there to just touch up on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, um, that everyone just needs to know that when you go on a trial to a club, it doesn't necessarily mean like if you're good enough to play for them that you're going to sign. There's loads of different
Of course not.
complications, like
Of
the
course.
transfer embargo and stuff like that. This is what
Yep.
people need to get in sort of like in their minds, sort of like all these young kids. I keep hearing I was the best player there, but I can't believe I didn't sign. But no, the football is so complicated. It's
Exactly.
yeah, it's football, but it's also a business. That's what
Of course. Of
young
course.
players need to get into their heads. And also another thing you touched up on there is that you never make it. That's all. That's what I always tell people. And I remember,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know him, like Don E, Medi Elito. He's from the
No.
same area as me. And when I left that area in East London, I said to his dad, because he was playing for England at the time, and I said to his
Okay.
dad, yeah, keep in his brain just this mentality that you just never make it,
Yeah.
and he'll go far. Basically, you're just renting. You're renting a career. Like you just don't
Mhm.
make it. Every year you have to pay the rent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
another thing is you going to a place where you enjoy it. How important was the agent? How important was an agent when you go? Because I know
Bro.
when you go in Europe, agents are very important. The right
Of
agents is
course,
very
bro.
important.
Of course. It's definitely important as to in a lot of situations, and an agent. It's important that you have a lawyer as well, because especially in Cyprus is where it's a land where everything happens. I have never seen things in my life. I've seen things in my life that I've never thought I would, and I come from the hood. You know what I mean? And in the hood is probably more straightforward than in Cyprus. So, so I was lucky enough to go to a club where everything is serious there. But you still need to have your agent, because if you go over and you sign something on a dotted line, and in one of the clauses says that, oh, if you get caught on the phone, or if you get caught outside your house after 10 o'clock at night, your contract's finished. Things like that. I'm just giving you an example. And I see a lot of things like that happen to some of my teammates. They're supposed to be wearing, at the time I think we were sponsored by Puma, not Puma, Lotto, one of them, and we were only allowed to travel with the team's brands, shoes or trainers, yeah. And he used to always wear Nike or Adidas, or I can't remember what he was wearing. And he was photographed on the team's website, and he got fined the first time, but he didn't care. He got fined the second time. The third time they released him, and obviously he came with the lawyers and the agent, and they said, yeah, but on the clause on the contract says that you have to wear the club's merchandise, unless you have a sponsorship. If you have a sponsorship, then it's different. But if not, you have to wear the club's traveling thingies. You have to wear the club's merchandise. So he got released for that. So obviously, my advice for the young players is that obviously when you go abroad somewhere, to have a lawyer, to have an agent, obviously that you trust, and the lawyer, so that when they send the contract over, you give it to your lawyer. You reads it up, because that's their job, and they says, "Yep, John, it's okay. You can sign it. You can go." This is my advice, because that's how I always done it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. What I'm trying, so basically, what I'm trying to like sort of like do when I've come back to England, obviously, because the youths and players in England at the moment, they just know England. It's a safety net.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to show them that there is life outside England, and like you just said, that you spend majority of your youth and teen sort of like development in England. You've had moments, but then you've had a few battles with life off the pitch, on the pitch, but then
Hmm.
you've gone
Hmm.
outside and
Clear
explain
picture.
how life was like on the pitch and off the pitch for you
Where, in England or
in
abroad?
Cyprus.
Bro, in Cyprus is it's I mean, it's crazy, bro. I went from being a no one, basically a nobody in football, to a god in football. You know, I had people coming up to me asking me for my autograph, and taking pictures, and I'm on the pitch. All of a sudden, I'm on the pitch with 20,000 people, playing with 20,000 people. You know, but at that point, I was already mature enough to kind of deal with it, to adapt to it. You know, and it's just that, of course, there's more than life. There's a lot more than life than just England. If everywhere, I played in seven different countries. So
Yeah,
when
we'll
I went
get
to
to that.
Cyprus,
We'll get to
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. So when I get to Cyprus, it's completely different. It's like from day to night, from night to day. Basically, it was completely different. I had people asking me for my autograph, pictures. All of a sudden, I was making a lot of money, and people on the street recognized me. I don't remember the first few weeks that I was there pay for lunch or dinner, because I was out and the fans will pay for my meal. You know, if I was out having coffee, they would pay for it. Or the restaurant owner would say, no. Apollon, re? Daxi. Go. You know, and I would just basically live like a superstar. You know, and that was the big difference. That was the big change.
Do you know what? That's one thing like I really find strange because even when I went to Romania, obviously you've been there as well, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's just the people just treat you so differently. In England, it's just like you're just like you're a
Just
normal
another one.
person. Yeah,
Yeah,
out there it's like
it's crazy.
yo, they make you
You're a
feel
god.
so.
You're a god.
Yeah, literally, I'm thinking, wow, you can't even move.
Yeah, yeah,
Everywhere that I've
exactly.
been abroad, you can't leave your apartment
Yeah, you can't. You
without
can't.
anything,
Yeah,
without being
people
noticed,
seeing you
without pardon.
because you're black, you're different, and they see your face on TV every week on the newspapers. You know, so this is why we stand out. You know, and obviously I've
How
got
did you
tats,
adapt to that lifestyle? How do you adapt to that lifestyle though?
but I'm not gonna lie to you, and you know me very well. I've got a bit. I got a bit, I got a bit carried away. I got a bit inflated. Let's just say I got a bit too big for my boots. Let's just say, yeah. And I wouldn't say I had a setback. It wasn't a setback. It was like a open eye sort of experience, you know, because it was a week where we didn't win. I think we drew. Imagine we drew away, you know, and it was already bad atmosphere, you know, name calling on the pitch, and if you see on the street, this guy, this foreigner, come to take our money, like this. It was just like quick, you know, it was like a finger click.
Switch, yeah.
So it was like a switch, yeah, basically. So I had time and maturity enough to like think, okay, you know, this can go like this fast. So it brought me back to England, you know, whereas I was here, it all of a sudden just went down the drain. So that experience taught me very well. And when that happened, I just kept humble, kept working hard, kept playing when I had to play. And then obviously the coach changed. There was one coach this coach, he loved me. He ended up going to the politics, to parliament or something like that. So he left football. He went to politics. So imagine this is how Cyprus is. He left football. He left the players that he brought in the team. Came a new coach from Romania. That's how I ended up going to Romania later. Yeah, but that's how how it happened. I wasn't. The new coach came, brought 10, 12 players from Romania, and they were playing. So we were just left on the side. We were training, not being on the squad or being on the squad playing 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, no on the squad. So it went like this, you know. And so basically coming back to your question is, I had to adapt to it. Otherwise, I would have lost it all once again, you know.
Being abroad, obviously you was by yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
That's one of the things that like a lot of youngsters, not just youngsters, like a lot of mature adults are
yeah,
afraid of going
yeah.
abroad to a different country and actually living there alone. And
Hmm.
how did you adapt to that sort of fact that you
I
was alone like that?
I had to adapt, bro. I had to adapt. It was either adapting to that and making the best out of it, or going back to a situation where it didn't bring me no benefits, or if anything, it just brought me to the situation that I'm in, which I couldn't complain because I had a job and I was getting paid for it very well. But I could have been. I wouldn't say for sure I would be playing Prem, but at least I would be in Championship level, and who knows, I would have made it to the Prem at the age that I was. Does that make sense? So I had to weigh my options out and just draft. Basically, I had made it, but I still had to draft. You know, had to obviously make sure I held on to my spot, and that includes living alone, making my own food, not going out when I wasn't supposed to. I was having fun, of course, but within my limits. And then these are all the responsibilities that you need to have and learn when you live alone, especially in a country like Cyprus, which is very, very how can I put it? It's very easy to get lost because you have temptation everywhere, clubs everywhere. You're at home, you listen to music coming from the bars down the road. the weather, you know, it's very tempting, but you need to stay calm if you want to play football and do good at it, or you want to go back home and with nothing basically. You need to adapt. That's my main word. You need to adapt to your reality.
So you've left Cyprus. How does how did you feel at the time of leaving Cyprus? It's just like, is it one of those things where you're just thinking, oh, Jesus, again, I want to move again,
Not,
or how's your emotion?
not really, bro. Because when I left Cyprus in a good place. You know, I left Cyprus in a good place where I met people that took me to Israel. Was my next stop. You
Mad,
know, yeah,
mad.
Israel, bro. I'll tell you the experience. I had been in Cyprus for 3 years, bro, and then I went on holiday. Let me bring you back a little bit. Before I left Cyprus, I was in a club. I went after Poland. I went on loan to Hermes, which is the owner is a gangster, literally a gangster, right? Just to tell you, I signed my contract in his house. He has walls around his house up until like third or fourth floor, cameras everywhere. He has 15 cars in his garage, but I'm talking about bulletproof cars like trucks, GMC trucks, Escalades, all these Lamborghinis, all this shit. Yeah, all gold. Most of
I
it costs
believe you,
gold.
man. I've been in Cyprus. I believe you.
Exactly. And he walks around with 3, 4 bodyguards, armed, bro, like a movie, like a movie. So I signed the contract and he said, "Hey, how much money you want to make? How much money?" I said, "Hey, I'm not gonna." I was speaking to myself. I'm not gonna say something, and he's gonna say, "Ah, you crazy, get out of here." No, I wasn't gonna say nothing like that. So I said to him, "Listen, you know how much I was making in my old club. You match that with bonuses. I just threw it like this." He goes, "Yeah, okay. Hey, bring me the bag, a briefcase full of notes." And he gave me three, four stacks of notes and said, "Oh, okay, take this is for you to sign now, and you make X, and now you go for holidays and you come back in 1 month." Bro, I couldn't even travel with the money that I had on the airport. I had to send it. At these times, I was using Western Union. Imagine Western Union.
Yeah,
So I had to pay some crazy fee to send all the money home. I think I paid 500-600 euros to send the
yeah,
money home because I couldn't
yeah,
travel with all of it. And I was like, "Whoa, okay, cool." I signed the contract, and then team got relegated on the secretary, yeah, because obviously it's for mafia, it's things with the social security stuff like that. The team went down the second division, so my contract wasn't valid in Cyprus, in the club. So I was like, cool. I had 1 more year, one more year contract with Apollo. I said, okay, cool, no problem. Meanwhile, I had met the Israeli player that went there on trial, Daniel Ishvit. He was in Israel. He was top goalkeeper in Maccabi Tel Aviv. So he
yeah,
come to our team on trial. I said to
yeah,
him, "Hey, bro, you come to Israel, you will make a lot of money, lot of money." I
yeah,
said, Israel. I didn't even know Israel. They had a football league, you know, because you think Israel is the Middle East, all the conflicts with Gaza and all that. I thought, nah, no way, I'm not going to do that. But then it got me thinking. I did a bit of research on Israel, and I thought, wow, it looks amazing. And then I spoke with him. He made a video call, and he showed me around. He used to live in Tel Aviv. I thought, you know what, let's give it a trial. They sent me the contract. I flew, signed 3 years with Apoel, and bro, I tell you, it was one of the best experiences in my life.
really.
One of the best experiences in my life. It was unbelievable. Of course, I was wary, you know, but when I get to the airport, I got there end of June, like third week of June, something like that. It was 45 degrees at night, bro. I landed at night. It was like just the humidity, it hit my face like I was like, am I in the desert? So they come and take me, you know, a lot of pictures, the newspapers, you know, stuff like that. They put the scarf around my neck, go with the fan, blah, blah, blah. They take me to a hotel. The next day I wake up, bro, it was beautiful. Tel Aviv was amazing,
Yeah,
amazing, bro. I absolutely loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. It was definitely one of the best experiences in my life. Really good money, really good bonuses. The fans loved me. The club loved me. It was basically me and the rest of the 10. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was one of the first. It was probably the first time where I felt that I was really wanted there. Does that make sense? So I enjoyed my time there, 100%.
Do you know what? Yeah, following you on social media when you
Yeah,
was out there, it actually looked like just through the pictures, you actually looked like
yeah,
you
yeah.
you were enjoying it and you did have a connection with those fans.
It was
I
crazy.
still thought that you was crazy though going there,
Yeah,
but yeah,
everybody thought the same.
but it showed me like obviously if someone said Israel, no straight away, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
you
have to keep
going
an
there.
open mind.
Exactly, you going there
Yeah,
having a good experience actually shows that okay, there is there is football out there. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Not
yeah, yeah,
not like do you know places like that for me? I just think football is too much of a religion. When football is too much of a religion somewhere, yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
dangerous.
Bro, I'm
It's
not gonna lie to
dangerous.
you. It was dangerous. It was. Most of the games where we used to go to, well, there was like two, three teams up north, which was closer to the Arab border. We had to go. Normally, we would go with the police car in front, like normally on the highway or when we get into the city where we're playing. But going up north, you had to go at least with 5, 6 armored military vans, wherever they were. It had to be the security had to be reinforced because being a Jewish team, that's how they are socially anyway. But especially there because it's closer to the border, that's what shock. It was kind of like a shock to see that. Normally you have that car in front of you, the police, the escort. He escorts you to the highway or to the stadium where you're playing, from the hotel to the stadium. But in this case, and these 2, 3 teams specifically, it was crazy, bro. The Arabs and the Jewish was crazy. It was crazy. But other than that, bro, I had no complaints. I felt safe at all times. At all times, I can promise you that. Safe at all times.
Wow.
It was amazing, bro. It was amazing.
Well, credit to you, man. Credit to you.
Yeah,
I truly respect that, man.
yeah,
Yeah, I truly respect that journey, man. What I want to talk about is obviously I've also played in Romania.
yeah.
Talk me of your experiences in Romania, innit?
Bro, Romania was like, obviously Romania has a thing for being called the gypsy place kind of thing, yeah. Of course, there's a lot of gypsies, but I mean the mentality wise sort of thing. I was only there for 6 months. I was there for 6 months because I was supposed to go to Astra Georgiou. You remember Astra? At the
Yeah,
time at the time were a big team, right? They had won the national cup, and they were a big team, crazy fans and stuff like that. But things didn't happen. The owner of the Astra left the club and bought a championship club, and he wanted to get promoted, so he invested, and obviously he spoke to the agent that I was with at the time, and he said, "Look, would he be interested in coming and play for us for 6 months plus a 2-year contract?" And the agent asked me, and I thought, you know what? I don't know. I think I want to stay in Israel. The money was good, and the owner was so crazy. He had 2 clubs. He had, apart from that one, he had another one in third league. And the owner just asked, how much does he want to get paid, or how much does he get? How much does he want to come here for 6 months? And the agent asked me that, so I thought, okay, I heard this already in Cyprus. Maybe now I'm not going to be so stupid because I wasn't there. I was at home, and I could say, "Oh, I want 1 million euros." If he said, "Oh, are you crazy? I'm going to shoot you," he couldn't shoot me because I was home. So I said, "You know what? I want this much money." And the agent was like, "Nah, I don't think we should be asking for this. That's crazy." I said to him, "Just ask him. If he wants, he wants. If he don't want, whatever, innit?" And after an hour, I put the phone down. 1 hour later, he called me back. He said, "Yeah, they want it." This is December times, yeah, and you remember they start for 1 month because of the cold and stuff. And
yeah.
this is December, my birthday's in December, so I enjoyed my birthday, blah blah blah. And when I got the call, I was like, okay, I'm going to Romania just until the end of the season. So I went there, and if I tell you that I don't ever remember signing any paper for getting paid. All the money I got paid was in cash. All the time I got paid in cash. Cash. I said to him, send the money home. If I want to transfer or pay my taxi back home, how do I do? He goes, no, I'll give you money and you know, you deal with it. Bro, we used to get the bonuses for the game. Let's say for the bonus for that game would be €2,000. In lei, it's like 10,000 lei. So it's like a lot of notes, yeah, 10,000 lei or 12,000 lei. I can't remember the exchange rate, but it would be like €2,000 for that game. And he would come before the game and give the money to the players before the game. Before the game, I remember specifically one game that we played against Poli Timisoara, big team with fans as well.
Timisoara.
And we lost Timisoara, yeah. And we lost the game, bro. And I had €2,000 in my pocket from the bonus. And he came after the game. He screamed, he was crazy, screaming. He kicked the boots, he kicked the warriors, the balls, everything. He kicked. He said, "Come to me, hey Bruno. Next time I want goal, huh? I want goal." I was the only one that didn't get shouted at because I played a good game, but we lost, and he had paid already the money, you know. So this for me, this is what Romania was. Romania was crazy. Romania was absolutely crazy. We used to travel 7 hours, 2 days before the game. Travel 7 hours on the bus.
The country
to a game 2 days before. Away hotel all the time. It was crazy, bro. Crazy. We
used to fly, and the plane. There was one guy in Cluj. His name was Julio, Argentinian guy. He was crying in tears on the plane because the plane was shaking. But
we used to only fly to Bucharest. Only to Bucharest.
To Bucharest. And then you take the bus. But regarding all that payment thing, oh my god, I could agree with you 100% because
only in cash.
When I signed my contract in Cluj, literally, do you know when the contract's all complicated?
Yeah.
Now had my name, the date, how long I'm signing for, and the amount.
No clothes, nothing.
Every month, nothing else. Every month, I got a black bag. I got a guy knocking on my house, because they give me a house. I was a guy knocking on my house like a postman, just giving me the bag, and I had some black bag.
And there you go.
With money on it, I was just thinking, wow, this place is mad.
Crazy, bro. But other than that, I enjoyed the experience, bro. I liked it. Okay, football wasn't so competitive, but I liked it. I liked it because also it was a cheap country, so I didn't spend a lot of money, and I lived in a hotel, the owner's hotel. So other than that, I like the experience.
But you know what? I don't know about your experiences, I had a bit of mixed experience because on the field, there was mad racism, or like in the stadium, and even like the opponent players and stuff like that. Mad racism. However, off the field, say I'm going out or whatever, lovely people.
I never experienced that.
People.
I never on or off the pitch. I never experienced any racism in Romania.
Lovely people, and I really enjoyed it. It's actually a good place. Do you know that? People don't understand that it's actually a good. For me, it's actually a good place. I don't know about yourself.
No. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Because our chairman, he owned a club in Cluj.
Okay. So
we was going in for free. We used to go for free. So literally, there was like, do you know, there was this guy called Lastin Actori who went to Everton after a while. Really tall. He was like, on my trial in Cluj, they said to me, mark this guy. Because I marked him, that's when I signed, didn't it? Yeah, he was literally about 6'7", and he said he was 19 at the time. I was thinking, you're crazy.
Okay.
He every week, win or lose, he used to have a house party in his house, and invite the town. That's when I knew these people. That's what I knew about. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know when you talk about like mafia money?
Yeah.
It's mafia money is
all
around you. It's all around you. It's not
exactly. yeah, definitely. Especially Cluj. Definitely, bro.
So right now, you've left Romania.
Yeah.
You've gone back to Portugal, where you're at home. I see you're enjoying yourself. You're enjoying your football.
Yeah.
You got your family.
I went home. I wasn't supposed to go and stay at home. I went home, and I just ended up getting an offer to go to this club which is obviously another historic club. And again, I don't know what it was at the time, but I was accepting bad situations. The club they couldn't pay the player. Like for example, now if you don't pay the players for 2 months, your team gets deducted points. If you don't pay them for 3 months, they get relegated. So they got relegated from Prem to League One, right? So I thought, okay, I'm not gonna stay, of course, because if I go to League One now, then the next contract is gonna be lower and lower. And you know yourself, when you go from low to low, you're gonna keep going down. It's very difficult to come back up again. So I didn't accept to go there, and I went to Poland. That's how Poland come about. Okay,
Right.
so we're talking now 2007, 16, 17, I think. Yeah, after
I
Romania,
think so,
16,
yeah.
17. So 2017, I come to Poland as a big signing, and in Poland, it's a completely different ballgame to Romania. You know, because of the history, because of cultural mentality, social. It's completely different ballgame. I get to Poland. I signed for 2 years. I signed a 2-year contract, and they were a championship, and they wanted to get promoted at the time. So I accepted the challenge because money was good, conditions were good. I looked at the club; it looked pretty decent. A lot of fans, and I come to them. So when I come there, I met. Uh, obviously, no. This is when I met. No, I already knew Bemba. You remember Bemba, Matthew? Yeah.
Yeah.
I come to Poland more because of Bemba, because he asked me if I wanted to come there, and he spoke to the president. The president called me directly, and then I come as a big signing. So obviously, when I come there, I obviously I knew Bemba, and I get with him, and I met
Wait,
also
hold on,
another
hold on, bro.
Spanish.
So to cut you off, yeah. Why
Yeah,
why have you turned into a foreigner all of a sudden, man?
because that's because
What's
obviously,
going on?
bro,
Nah,
because
I was
sorry, bro,
thinking,
because
what
obviously,
the hell? Where am I, man? Jesus, you
sorry,
turned
bro,
into
because
some
obviously,
foreigner, man. I thought I was talking to
sorry,
Arsene Wenger.
sorry, bro, because obviously I've been Portugal for so long, and I don't speak our English with nobody, no one. So I've got to kind of like, I feel dull at times. But I'm sorry. Anyway, you're right. So obviously I see Bemba there, and I met another Spanish guy and one Brazilian guy, Leo. He was there for years, so he was basically more Polish than Brazilian. Usually Portuguese and Brazilian players when they meet, it's the same culture, same language, same thing. But Leo he had a Polish mentality already, because he spoke fluent Polish, so he's Polish basically. So I get that signed, blah blah blah, big buzz, newspapers, interviews, blah 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 blah. We had the first preseason game. I wasn't doing so good because I wasn't fit. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It was the first time, the first preseason I go unprepared. I didn't do nothing before preseason. I just thought, it's just a nightclub. I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna, go through the paces. I underestimated the football there. It's physical. It's very physical and strong. So the first friendly, I didn't do so good, and then 2 days after we play against Legia, which is one of the biggest teams. Legia Warsaw is one of the biggest teams in Poland. I did even worse. So people started to speak, and the president got on to Bemba. This is the player that you indicated, and blah blah blah. And Bemba got on to me. So I thought, what, okay, right. So it took me like a week to get into my normal shape. Yeah. Fast forward, we get to the first game of the season, and I'm on the bench. And the team used to play 3-5-2, and me as a winger, I like to play 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 as a second strike and just move freely. And the first game didn't go so well. We lost the game, and the week after, during the week, the coach had a talk with me, and he told me, what kind of tactic would you see yourself playing in the team? And I told him, obviously, at these times I'm more experienced, and I've been through a lot. So I told him, but I didn't really try to insinuate what he should do. I just told him, yes, I prefer to play 4-3-3, 4-4-2, whatever. That week, I started. I scored 2 goals and 2 assists. Second game, right? So all the buzz that was going around, it stopped completely. So all of a sudden, I'm one of the best players. And along with Leo, the Brazilian guy. So things started to go well, started to go well. Fans on the street, again, pictures, all this, all this nonsense. But when you experience that thing, those things don't phase you. It feels good, of course, but they don't phase you anymore. It's just normal, So things started doing good, blah blah blah. Started scoring, assisting, scoring, assisting, and then we get promoted eventually. The team hasn't been in Premier League for 34 years, I think it was 34 years. So we get the promotion. My contract triplicated. I was getting so much more money, much more bonuses and stuff like that. So, and then come the season after, 18-19 or 19-20, the season after, the season before COVID. So the season starts, and I see right away that he brings new players. He has more money. He brings new players, and it starts putting me on the side. So first 5 games, I had not even 1 minute. On the 6th game, because we were losing, he had to put me. And we put me when it was 2-0 down at home, the last 15 minutes. You're a player, and what can you do when you're 15 minutes down to finish the game and you're 2-0 down? There's not much you can do, right? So criticism, all the foreigners, blah, 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 blah. And then I started to experience racism. Bear in mind that I come from one of the best players the season before, if not the best, to not playing and experiencing racism, whether it was on the pitch with our own fans or off the pitch, when we were going to restaurants or going out, stuff like that. That's when I started to experience that. And there in Poland is hooligans, dangerous people, right?
Yeah.
So that was basically, and then come to December, halfway through the season, then I left. I had a good relationship with the president, and I spoke with him, and that was it. I broke my contract and left.
But
yeah,
now you're in a happy place in Portugal, and that
definitely.
really
Now I'm
enjoying
home, back to my childhood
season.
club.
Your,
Back to my
back to
childhood
your
club.
childhood
Yeah,
back to your
yeah, yeah,
childhood club, and where it all started, Bruno.
yeah, exactly.
For me, that was a fantastic insight to
Okay.
your story and your career, and I think I was particularly looking forward to speaking to you because I think your story is very relatable to the generation right now. It's very important that
I hope so.
your story is being heard because a lot of teens can relate to you because right now there's a lot of players like you right now.
Mm-hmm.
When you was coming up, there weren't really any black players like you, but now there's a
Yeah,
lot of flair
a
players.
lot,
They
a
don't
lot of
really
talent.
understand
Mm-hmm.
what's going on, why they're not
Yeah,
being picked, why is this,
yeah,
why is
yeah,
that, and
yeah,
stuff like that,
exactly.
and
They
probably
think they
want to quit.
should be. They should be. They should
Exactly,
be.
and
They demand. Yeah.
I think your story is fantastic for them to hear and for them to sort of learn from your experiences.
Yeah.
Like again, I say thank you, Bruno. Really
Glad I could
appreciate
share,
it.
man. Glad I could share. It's always good to
Good
speak
luck
to you,
with the
man.
rest of your career.
Thank you very
Hopefully,
much,
when
bro.
you're in England, I invite you to come and watch my club. Um,
100% I will. Oh, when you were in Portugal. You need to
yeah,
come.
100%, man, 100%. And have a nice day, my friend.
Thank you very much, bro. Glad I could share. Take care of
Cheers,
yourself,
bro.
bro.